The Survivor specialists Phil, Blake, and McKenna are back, and today we continue the road to Survivor 50, discussing season 38, Awkward. Rick Devens.
The War Dog vote out.
Why do you have to interrupt?
I'm trying to talk. I watched the wrong episode. That's pretty awkward.
Hey, look at you. Rick Devens highlighted big time in this episode. Aubrey also appears on your screen in case you forgot. Jeff does not mention her very nicely. An episode where I think that the winner of the season hiccups or says whoa or something because they don't actually go to Edge of Extinction at all in this entire episode because it's a loved one visit. I will say, if they were going to pick an episode to highlight Rick Devens, they really couldn't have picked a better one. If you're not excited for Rick Devens after watching that episode, like, keep hating. Hopefully that does well for you in your life. But oh my God, that was so fun to watch. And McKenna's giving me a face of like, I'm hating, but I don't care. Hate away.
Why would I hate? Listen, I love Edge of Extinction. I think it's a great season. Some would say it's the top season of the 30s.
Some are stupid, John.
But another person would also put 2 people from Edge on their villains tribe. And it's full display this episode. So I love Edge of Extinction. Was so happy to watch this episode. John and I actually just watched it for season 49. And so it was I just recently watched it, but it's still like it's just so good. I love Edge of Extinction.
What I really love about this episode, and this is probably one of the best edited episodes of Edge of Extinction, which Edge of Extinction, that's the problem, is like throughout the entire season, you're trying to figure out who's going to win because the winner's not playing. You're like, I don't know what's going on. But then, you know, a lot of the episodes, like Ron's barely in it, Aurora's barely in it, but because we get the family visit here, everybody kind of gets their moment. Everybody gets their time to shine. And I think this really showed off like everybody who was here and makes the whole Devens thing so much more entertaining. And as Daryl Seymour says, you just want to make me look stupid so my kids think I'm an idiot. Like, I love how hard Rick leans into everything, and it highlights him, but it also highlights what he was up against. Like Ron trying to dupe him and make him look stupid, Julie giving him the false hope, all of these different things that were going on. And then even Gavin coming up with the extra vote that Aurora gives him so that Aurora kind of protects herself. It's all really, 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 really good. And I really enjoy this episode. And I love post-merge Devens. I know that he was polarizing when the season was airing. People were tired of listening to him talk, whatever. Post-merge Devens is amazing to me. And it blows my mind that this man was an alternate originally for season 50. Like,
I can listen to bump and his news broadcast of what is going on every episode. Like, if that's how I get information from Devens in 50, I'm here for it.
Blake, how is he an alternate?
I do think there's other people that watch the show sometimes besides like the nerdy crew. And this is, I think not the epitome, not the apex. I think we could say a more positive word. I think he's the blueprint for this guy is almost the first meta player. Like before the new era super fans came, we're like, it's exactly like this. You got to play exactly like this. He does know exactly how to play to get further, but he got voted out. And so there's that immediately like, shut your bitch ass up. You got voted out already. Like, you don't know nothing about Survivor. I think some of the fan base was like that. Some of the fan base didn't really like the whole, like, because they leaned on it very heavily. Like, this is a great balanced edited episode, but this is like the third time we and he had a bin bomb like type run of here's my stuff, here's my stuff, here's my stuff. And then I think it was also like he's aligning with people that we like, but some of us like Kelly more than Rick and would have loved Kelly to make where Rick is. Or so I think there's that layer of, if you aren't a big superfan fan, if you aren't a big nerd Survivor fan, Rick Devens is almost your persona non grata, public enemy number one. Because Christian, he's a brochacho too, but Rick is through and through nerdy. Like, and I did the whole like, I see myself in you, Rick. I really do. Like, let's take a picture. We could be brothers. Whenever I saw him at a bar, and you're like, he's not autistic. He's not, but he's nerd to the max. And like that energy.
Autistic. Where the hell did that
I don't know. Sometimes it's like I've been going through a lot, you know. It's like when we're a Survivor person that he means so well, but people still hate his ass. And usually whenever you look up memes and do stuff that's like autism or ADHD, and you're like, not on Survivor because he doesn't have autism or autistic or what am I saying? But it is kind of like he means so well and people hate his ass on this season. Like him and Aurora go at each other harder than I think a lot of duos have ever gone at each other. And that just popped in my head right there. So I need to eat more before I come on.
Dude, do you need a shovel? Like, do you want me to bury you?
Topic to Aurora digging into Devens' bag, and that's when it gets awkward. That's when the quote happens. Like,
oh yes.
I wish
That's
this
what I
wasn't
meant.
live so I could cut that, but here we are. Anything else you want to say, Blake?
No,
that makes no sense. You could potentially.
Let me dig myself out of this. What I'm trying to say is
this isn't digging deeper.
Blake's not doing that. He just told us. So here we are. He's digging himself in.
Rick is trying to play the game as wholesome and whatever as possible, but the writing is on the wall of if Rick makes it to the end, he wins. And I think instead of somebody just saying, thanks, Rick, for all this thought process, they have to betray him because there's so many idols that Rick has access to. And I think it becomes the worst version of this ever of here's my menu. Good luck, bud. Grab one of these idols. And then that turns into you're trying to make me look bad in front of my family. So I think it's just we're at an impasse of we can't take Rick further because we'll know he'll win, but we also can't vote him out the correct possible way where no one feels bad because there's so many advantages in this part of Survivor.
All right, McKenna, let's have a conversation and let's
I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, like Blake to dig himself out of the hole just changed the subject. That's all he did.
Great.
I'm so confused. All right.
I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, I'm so absolutely confused. Anyway, we're here. I'm excited to talk about Devens. That's what this is all about, believe it or not. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. I feel like the hate for Rick was coming from the fact of he had just played, or we had seen Ben not too long before this. Dom was a really big, loud personality. 37 was a little bit different, but like 2 of the previous 3 seasons were dominated by male personalities and like big male personalities and ones that were very impacted by idols and advantages and whatever, especially Ben more so than Dom, but still, I think that's why people were down on Devens. I just can't believe after rewatching this episode, knowing how much Jeff loves Devens. Devens did the on Fire podcast. He was going to come out and be like a guy who was buying things with tokens or selling things with fire tokens. Who knows? And then he's going to be an alternate. And this is the cast you have. And like, it's not to throw shade at the rest of the cast, but out of all of these episodes, other than Coach, nobody shines more than Devens so far. And this is the 7th episode. Like out of all the people, you can't tell me that Devens just suddenly became unentertaining or his story wasn't going to resonate with people to the fact of, from what I'm understanding is him and somebody else must have been alternates who got added when they decided to go to 24 people. How is Rick Devens when you start looking at the pre-50 people? I understand that you have Christian, you have Colby, you have Ozzy, you have Mike White. I would take Devens over literally all of them. Like there's not one person from the pre-40 men, and I love Colby, that I would take over Rick Devens. I'm sorry. Like Rick Devens just belongs there. So I'm just surprised. And after watching this episode, there's a lot of people who tuned in tonight and said, wow, I miss Rick Devens. This was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a great character for Survivor and for Survivor 50 because also his arc on Edge of Extinction, just going from being voted out where it was all of his alliance and he just happened to be the one person least connected. And then coming back in the game to being the biggest threat on the island. You have Julie right at the merge being like, no, that's mean. We can't vote him out right away. And then look what he becomes. And everybody is like, why didn't we do this sooner? Chris has to give up the necklace to face Devens to make sure he gets eliminated. Like his arc in Edge is insane. And I think that in itself should have been something that is easily put on 50.
Yeah. No, I was really surprised when I heard that he was the alternate. And he says in this episode, this is already my second chance because, I played, but when you're as exciting your second time through, who cares? Like, come back and play again. It's not like they're scared to put people on for the third, fourth, fifth time, as we're seeing on this season. So yeah, I'm very happy that Devens ultimately made the cut. He deserves to be there. And I feel like if they had a Ghost Island episode, we'd all be watching Dom Abate going, yeah, Dom's just as good as you remember too. Why is Dom not on this season? So yeah, good. Devens, good. Idle play, good. But you know what it was for me? It's the Devens humor. And Blake, you have a little bit of the Devens humor, where it's very, very in your face, sarcastic. When he is sitting there at the camp and he's like, hey, you guys like want to make something happen right now? And he's just sitting there putting his socks on and nobody will talk to him. And he's like, you guys want to like make an alliance? And then when he's on the perch, he's like, if you guys let me win this, I will take you all to final three. Like, I love all of those lines of just him leaning in super, super hard and not caring because he knows that this is what the game is. And, obviously at the second one, he had found the immunity idol, or maybe he didn't yet. But either way, it's just like, he knows he's doomed, so who cares?
Yeah, he had the idol before he went to the challenge, or at least that's what it was shown to be. But yeah, Blake.
Gotcha.
Awkward. I mean, I think the funniest joke in Survivor history is the one that wasn't shown of War Dog Silva introduces himself, and then Jeff goes, and what about you? What's your name? And the glasses. He goes, this is so awkward. My name is also War Dog. And I think that's the energy that, if it served him that well of getting a fourth place, why would you not try to be that kind of charming person when you're among giants? And I think it will be fun to watch Rick interact with Coach and go, what? Or I know that maybe Savannah isn't going to say she's a reporter, but if they have a report off in the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes or 5 episodes in the pre-merge, whatever, I think it would be a thing that's worth that 26 seconds. Like, I think Rick is somebody you could put on the tribe with any of these people, and the interaction, just like we go, oh, Rizgod has to talk to Colby about this, and Colby's cantankerous old school. I think the same thing with Rick. Rick is going to have to talk to La Grossa, and what are they going to interact about? Or Rick is going to be next to Q for 3 hours doing the do this for water, or you don't get water for your tribe. All those Rick things are, I think, a writer's dream of fanfic of like, Rick made a joke about the person's blah, blah, blah. And like, watching those things are going to be fun.
He also is always playing with house money because he already got voted out once. He's like, oh, I'm back. Well, let me just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Like, he is playing fast and loose. And then same with, I think, what he wants to do in 50 is just be that goofy character because he's on season 50. This is amazing. Like, I didn't think I would ever be here kind of thing. And I think that's some of the allure to Devens is he is just like a nonsensical player, and it's so fun to watch because he does have some strategy behind it, but he's just like playing the game for the love of the game.
I think what I love about Devens coming back, and we talk about this a lot, and Will brings this up a lot, of like the storyline for specific players. What is Emily Flippin bringing that she didn't bring the first time? Was Emily's story complete? You could argue that Devens' story is complete, but I think what helps is with Devens, you're still going to get Devens this time around. Mm-hmm. You don't run the risk with Rick Devens of him suddenly being a bust as a casting choice.
Now that my son is in 8th grade, I don't think this way. You're like, what? No.
Yeah, like Rick Devens is still going to come out. He's going to deliver great confessionals. He's going to be that goofy guy, like you were saying, McKenna. And I think that's what's awesome is exactly what you're going to get from Rick. So if everything else on this season goes south, if Ozzy really is as old as he seems, and if Joe Hunter can't deliver without Eva, and if Savannah is simply too new and over her head, and if Jenna Lewis does fall into the Kelly Wigglesworth realm of things, I'm just naming people on his tribe, you know that Rick Devens is going to be there and is going to be the same guy. And even more so than Christian, like Rick was a part of the strategy talk and everything, mainly just because everybody was gunning for him. Christian, it felt like he was a narrator almost by like, they were really leaning into the David aspect of things. Mm-hmm. Rick Devens, they weren't leaning into anything with him. Yeah, they leaned into the news reporter stuff, but that wasn't because that was the theme of the show. It just worked out for him that Edge of Extinction was there, so he came back from that. But even in the early portion of the game before he goes to Edge of Extinction, he's a gold mine for content. So I do feel like he is he's a guarantee, and they don't always cast guarantees. And I think in this group of 24, there's some people who aren't guarantees. But Rick Devens is somebody who at the end of this is going to average 5, 6, 7 confessionals an episode. People are going to get tired of him. But at the end of the day, he's Rick Devens and he gives great confessionals. And he's also just funny at camp. And that's a reason, like with Tyson and Blood versus Water, a lot of people really felt like Tyson's edit in Blood versus Water was so obvious that he was going to win. But in reality, it was more so that like he didn't get a lot more confessionals than everybody else. He's just always there because he's getting so much content at the camp. And that's where Devens kind of falls into all of this.
I also think if Rick Devens turns into 50s Banu of like 4 episodes of like 30 confessionals each before he's eliminated and has nowhere to go, I'd be like, that would be fun. like 30. I don't know. I don't want to see.
He already has 1 million hearts, so I don't know what else Rick Devens needs.
Is he going to break Say's record for premiere confessionals or for confessionals in an episode in general?
I mean, out of the 24 who has the ability to do this, I think if they're giving Rick a whole episode that highlights him and like, be ready, I think Rick could be one. Sari could. I don't think they're going to ask Sari a 4th question after, where have you been? How long? Or do you think you can win this time? And then, okay, thanks. The other thing that I thought was really poignant, why don't we do family visits anymore? Because when Rick is talking to his wife, Becca, and like, we're not getting anywhere with his water. I'm probably not getting picked by whoever wins this. Like mid throw of water bottle stuff, he's like, how's everyone doing at home? And it's just such a, I don't want to be like fantastic moment, but I think it's a throwaway for Rick that I think would be a highlight for anyone else, because that's how much Rick gives to the show. But I thought it was very interesting for all the people that be like, I would take the burger, I'm not going to last on this thing for 5 seconds. Rick is doing that on the actual show, taking that moment of, I know I'm not going to win this, so I want to have this moment with my wife. Let me get out of it.
And knowing he's not going to be picked because everybody there hates him at that point. Like, he
great
knows nothing's working out. Yeah.
And when you have like the quote unquote obvious pick of Gavin, like I think everybody is taking Gavin in that moment because he spills that he got married like a week before.
Was that true? Or was it?
Yeah. No, he moved the wedding.
I thought it was actually 3 days before.
Wow. Yeah. Look at Blake. No. Yeah. He did move the wedding. I don't know what Blake's doing. Yeah. Blake play over here.
Awkward.
Gross boy Blake. Yeah. No, the family visit really hits here. I mean, you see the emotion from everybody. I think the biggest problem is the game's too short. Like, this was happening on day like 28 or 29. I forget exactly what days we're at, but like, we're late into the game by the time this is happening. There's more people, like, and you know, now when it's 26 days, when would you do it? Day 20? I'd love to go 3 weeks without seeing my wife.
Dumb thought. Have they confirmed it's only 26 days for season 50 yet?
Shut up, dude.
Or on Tuesday, are they about to be like, by the way, we kept this a secret. Tomorrow's premiere is the start of one of 39 days for Survivor.
Everybody knows it's 26, and Jeff has gone on the record so many times saying, yeah, they're going 42. Thank you, McKenna. 43.
I just want to live in that world where it's a possibility, at least.
It's not. It's not a possibility, Blake. So don't live in that world. But yeah, I mean, that's why they don't do the family visits. But this family visit's great because I will be honest, up to this point, especially right before this, you lose Wentworth and War Dog back to back, 2 of the bigger characters on the season. Up to this point, Victoria, Ron, Aurora, Julie, Gavin, they're not huge characters because that Kama tribe just kept winning. So you weren't hearing from them all that much. This episode, it feels like you're tuning in right in the middle, and you're like, wow, I love these people. This is old school Survivor. Here we go. Not realizing that like the episode before, almost nobody talks. But I did think that this was a really good, family visit, and family visits always pull the best out of everybody except for the One World cast. Nobody cared about by the time you get to that point, but every other family visit has hit, and this one hits really hard.
I will say we work on this podcast. We give our life to this podcast. We're obsessed with Survivor. If anyone showed me a picture of Eric Hoffman and was like, can you name this person for $1 million before I just looked up what his name was just now, I lose $1 million on that.
You didn't listen to our interview with Eric Hoffman?
What year was that?
Right after Edge of Extinction. We had Eric
Hoffman. I missed that one, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess you don't put your life into this. Yeah, we had Eric Hoffman on.
It was just a jump scare seeing him of like I think what's super funny too about watching one episode of jumping into stuff, you can be like, yeah, I watched that season, I know most of the stuff that happened. But there was like 3 or 4 times where it was like Ron got voted out, and then we're used to that weird decision at the end, but the weird decision coming out of nowhere because you haven't watched an episode is like so hokey and weird, where like you're probably used to like, I'm gonna make fun of this now, or I do it together, or you would read it out loud with them. Another thing is like seeing people that you were like, I really not a fan of that person, of like, I guess you're like kind of primed and ready for them to talk, but it was like a couple of people on the jury when they were acting stuff out, I was like, okay. And then Aurora, whenever she was like so angry, I'm like, damn, I forgot how angry Aurora is. And like we've been building it up through episodes, but to dump right in the middle and like her being like, no, I don't fucking care that you saw me go through your bag. I was like,
yeah, Kelly Wentworth's laugh throughout the entire tribal council. I was like, okay, we get it, Kelly.
I mean, it's so good though, because it also showed like how much the jury really was rooting for Rick Devens at that point. Like they
kind of crazy to see that.
Yeah, they all wanted the commas out. Lauren had obviously a lot of supporters over there too. Like Kelly Wentworth would have voted for Lauren instead of Rick Devens if Lauren is sitting at the end. But it was just about getting rid of the commas, because the commas were in total control for so long and we're barely even having to play the game. And yeah, Kelly just laughing the whole time. I mean, and also, Ron and Rick have their little spat right there. But then Ron even looks back. He's like, Rick, you're a great player. Like, you got me. I'm at it. I mean, there is a respect that's going on there, but Devens has to call them on their shit, because he also knows you can go to Edge of Extinction and get back in the game. He's already done it. So you do have to be a little bit more brutal with some of the people, because you don't want them to go build a relationship over on Edge of Extinction and potentially come back in and win. So yeah, I think it makes sense the way that Rick went through it all. It will be interesting to see how Rick plays without having Edge of Extinction. Does Rick play more aggressively? Does he play less aggressively? Does he play the same? Is he as in your face? Like, I am curious about that.
Do they make an Edge of Extinction just for Rick because they want it to be as close to your original seasons as possible?
Yeah, Blake, that's what they're doing.
There's an Exile Island.
Bursary, yes. Colby gets a 40-second day if he needs it.
I mean, Ozzy also gets exile. Like half the teens are also all Exile Island.
That's where they all start.
Or everyone gets an advantage that reminds them of their OG season.
Okay.
We got Collery here. Rick is so fun to watch. I fear he won't be around long on 50. That's my winner pick you're talking about. Don't take that from me.
We'll see how my winner pick of Jenna does with Rick on the season.
Yeah.
I like where Daryl Seymour is going with this.
Click it.
Rick and Rizzo are not complete diametric opposites, but Rizzo was not having the Rick treatment from the jury, and the jury is literally like, yes, king shit. Every time Rick's doing that, they're both going to be on the season. I wonder if maybe Rizzo obviously he saw this season. I wonder if he was like, oh, I'm about to pull out a Rick Devens type move, or not the jury.
The difference is that Rick was on the bottom and Rizzo was on the top.
But Rizzo was not on
the top. Rizzo wasn't on the top.
Final 10, yeah.
But he was like on his way. Like he was, I guess, it felt like he was less of an underdog the entire season.
True.
Than Rick was. Rick was like on the
do.
back foot starting the merge. And yes, that Uli didn't have the numbers and they had that big flip in the beginning where it was just Savannah, Rizzo, and Soph, but they always felt in the dominant position. Maybe it was because they were on 50 like while I was watching it, but
I think that has a big role in that, McKenna. I do, because I feel like for all of us, we were all sitting there watching the episodes going, okay, well, Savannah and Rizzo have to do something because they're on 50. They have to do something because they're on 50. So, like St. Cliffo says, they were down 7-3. It never felt like they were down 7-3.
Right, because they kept flipping things. They kept being able to flip things where like Rick was never able to flip things. The other people just started having ideas.
Mm-hmm. The one and only Brett, Blake, you put this up. Is there a part of you that wishes Chris Underwood would have been on 50? You're asking. I also think it's amazing that you have like a scene from Crash as your
That's amazing.
Here.
Yeah,
I have to call that out.
And Tandy Newton was in the new Anaconda movie. So.
Any good? All right, cool. Yeah, Tandy Newton.
Awkward. The other thing that what did we just say? Oh, I thought it was kind of funny. I sent this as a text to the two people that are with me here. I was like, it's kind of funny that they're trying to hit all the bits and pieces of a family visit, but they can't like focus on the winner or get a winner quote here or a winner confessional because the winner is literally not on the show. And I do think that's an interesting like editing challenge or story challenge. But obviously these people didn't know in the moment that this was going to happen. So when you're setting up cameras and when you're doing all this stuff, it is just a thing where you're like, how the hell do we edit this where my audience of 7 million people are going to care about this? And then it's like, okay, well, we go back. Who actually won? Chris Underwood. None of this episode matters for that story at all. Because like when Chris Underwood comes back, it's final 5 or there's 6 of them total when they come back.
He's the 6th.
He's
the 6th. So we vote out Victoria, and it's like, does Victoria
title? Like, yeah.
Does Victoria get any heat from this episode? If not, none of this really matters for the in-game thing for our winner.
That was always my biggest complaint with Edge of Extinction. And when we were watching the season live, the whole cast was making fun of me because I was just saying how Victoria is going to win, Victoria is going to win, Victoria is going to win. Because if you
had to do that, yeah.
But if you watch the edit of the season, it feels like Victoria is going to win based on how they edit things because Chris isn't on the season. It's like you watch all 3 Lord of the Rings episodes, and then it's like Rosie or whatever her name is, who ultimately destroys the ring. And it's like, wait, she was back in the Shire. What the hell are we doing? Like, that's Sam's girl, sure, but like that doesn't matter. And that's how the season feels. There's so many ups and downs, twists and turns, idle plays, all this stuff in the season. None of it matters because Chris Underwood's only in 4 episodes.
Who's Jon Snow's like loser friend that becomes a maester? Is his name Sam too?
Yeah, Samwell Tarly.
It'd be like if he won the show. You're like, what?
Samwell Tarly does. He kind of does win. He gets what he wants.
Well, that's why Edge of Extinction is so much better on a rewatch. Is because you can then focus.
Because you can skip after episode 3 and go to the finale?
No, it's because
it's the shortest season in Survivor.
You know exactly what's going on, so then you can just enjoy it and watch the players play, knowing what's going to happen, not waiting like for the disappointment or whatever it is that like, oh, Chris is coming back in and winning it. You can still watch to see how good of games other people play in the season, and it's a good season.
One other thought process I have: what's that other guy's name? Zane? Is that what's his name? The guy that got married?
Gavin.
I was doing Z's but the V is the Gavin. Did Gavin lose this episode at all? Like, should he have been more vocal of, I put that extra vote, Ron, you're gone? Like, is there stuff that Gavin could have done this episode to get winning at the end, or is he losing pretty much every episode because he's not being like forthcoming and vocal enough?
I mean, Gavin blows it, it seems like, at the final tribal more than anything. that seems to be Gavin's problem, is he almost doesn't know how to pitch his game against Chris Underwood, because Gavin actually does play a very good game. He never gets a vote against him. He's always in control of like where the votes are going. I think he votes correctly almost every single time, if not every time. He knows what's going on the entire season. He just doesn't know how to pitch himself next to Chris. I think that's what it really came down to. And also, if you look at the votes on this season, I think 7 of Chris's 9 votes are the first 7 people out of the game, meaning Reem, Aubrey, whoever else is there, because Wendy and Keith are gone. It's all of those people. 7 of the 9 votes come from that. So I do think that plays a really, really, really big role there.
Yeah, I mean, he's schmoozing the jury the entire time.
Yeah.
And Chris is the only one that Reem had met, because she got voted out on the same beach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so I don't know how Gavin was going to pitch himself, but
he would have had to pitch himself to any of the merge people is really where his game was.
Yeah, hang on. Let me pull this up, because it was fascinating. I was looking at it today because I was like, who did vote for Gavin? And it was Victoria, Ron, and War Dog all voted for Chris. And like Victoria and Ron voting for Chris instead of Gavin to me is just insane. Even just watching this here, it's like, you got to be voting for Gavin. That right there would have made it 7-6. He loses by 1. But yeah, David, Julia, Eric, Joe, Aubrey, and Reem all vote for Chris. 3 of the 4 returning players vote for Chris. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, okay. Anyway, but that's also why I am a little bit surprised. Obviously, you have to get Devens in here because Devens is such a big character and stuff. It does surprise me a little bit that Survivor showed this episode and showed an episode from Edge of Extinction, considering they really, really don't. They don't like the outcome of this. I mean, Jeff might say it's like, that's what the season was all about. And sure, that is what the theme is. Like, if you're going to put out the Edge of Extinction theme, Chris Underwood winning is what the theme is, and that proves it. But I'm almost surprised that they show this episode, because Edge of Extinction to me feels like one that they probably want to brush under the rug, being that they didn't ask Chris back for 50 or 40, whatever it was. And I don't know. I don't feel like they were necessarily pleased when it all came down to it.
I mean, yeah, but they still have, they might not have been happy with the outcome, but they should be happy with their casting, because a lot of great casting choices were on Edge of Extinction. So if the season is bad, fine, but a lot of that cast should come back, especially Devens. He was the star.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Aubrey's, like we said, Aubrey doesn't really get an episode here. Are you surprised that they didn't try to do an earlier episode in this season so that they could show off Devens and Aubrey?
They can't show off both, I don't think, because Aubrey and Devens don't really like interact, or I don't know how much they would be able to show of Aubrey's game and Devens' game in a pre-merge episode.
This is not this season to show off Aubrey at all.
Yeah. That's also true.
Yeah, Aubrey does really nothing.
Because Ozzy's not really in Game Changers, and neither is Aubrey, but you could get an episode there if you also didn't want to show the South Pacific finale. Like, there were options that they chose not to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting how when you look at the people who make it to the merge and Game Changers who are on this season now, Ozzy had 8 confessionals in 9 episodes. Sari had 42 in 14 episodes, so that's good. Although early on, Sari wasn't saying anything. It was all post-merge. Aubrey had 21 in 14 episodes. Like, Aubrey has the second fewest confessionals on that season of anybody to make the finale. And people always talk about how Troyzan's edit was terrible. Troyzan only has 5 fewer confessionals than Aubrey. So when people are like, Troyzan could never play Survivor again, it's like, they're bringing Aubrey back after that. And then she comes out on Edge of Extinction and goes out 3rd. Or technically, I think she's the first. I think technically she is 16th place on that season because Wendy and Keith quit. But then she's, or I guess Reem, who knows, whatever it is. But it's like, they still brought her back. And, Ozzy has 8 confessionals in 9 episodes. That's the worst average out of anybody on that season. Anybody. So, like, they're willing to go back to the well, even if the well was dry once or twice. You know, and that's what St. Cliffo here says. Aubrey, definitely one of those characters. It's not guaranteed to be gold TV. So, you know, when you're talking about Devens, you see him, you know, he's a lock. Aubrey, not necessarily the case. What happened?
What the specialist post.
Oh, what Blake can't help himself with?
Sekou, I guess.
That is a fact. What else? Anything else on this episode? I mean, we're only at 35 minutes, but then
awkward. No, I think it is interesting to. This is a Rick heavy because how many people are getting episodes solely to themselves? It's just Coach so far.
Yeah.
So Coach and Rick
and Sari.
Oh yeah.
Coach, Rick, and Sari are people to watch, is what I would take from that.
Another episode featuring Chimney Sweep.
Yeah. Man, they just love that. Maybe they only have the rights to airing that on reruns. So they just keep choosing that.
What is Chimney Sweep?
Where they are braced.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Just keep showing that one.
They have to worry about rights of who made the challenges?
I'm messing with you. No,
that
obviously
would suck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, Blake. I see where you're coming from. I mean, Chrissy has her own episode too, so I guess with the Survivor, that's true. No, that was the last one. But I think really, when it comes down to it, would you not, like, if you have Rick Devens coming back and you're saying we're going to air 10 episodes and we want to show off the cast, like, you're going to show a Devens episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to want to, unless he is the first boot. Even if he is the first boot, you might do it anyway just to remind people why you brought him back.
Is there anybody, you probably answered this somewhere else already, but now that you are 7 episodes into figuring out what CBS is doing, is there somebody that they missed of, like, how is this person not getting an episode to highlight them?
I just feel like Aubrey. That's the only one I feel like it is. Like, I'm not surprised they didn't show Jenna Lewis. But
see, I think they should, because a lot of people they don't really know what kind of game she can bring to 50. Like, I don't think she's going to be a Wigglesworth, but people are going, that's the last thing they've seen of a Borneo player. And I think Jenna is going to be bringing a lot more strategy than Wigglesworth did. And I think they should have showed something of Jenna's strategy in All-Stars or in Borneo, because she does have the chops to be on 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that, but I feel like even if they showed her in All-Stars, you're going to end up highlighting Rob and stuff, and then people are going to be going, why isn't Boston Rob just on the season? And I feel like that's an even stronger take than when you're showing Parvati and Amanda.
True.
So let's do this question and let's get out of here. Brian Killing It Weber. Who would be your second pick from this season after Devens? And let's not use a returning player. So no Aubrey, no Wentworth, no Joe.
What? Yeah, I was picking Aubrey.
Brian says War Dog. Who do you guys got?
Yes, Blake.
The fact that, you know how Bobby John and Stephanie came back the next episode or the next season, I was fully thinking Reem was going to come back, because Reem is the best first boot of all time, but we did get to spend a lot of time with her. But Reem is not even just funny in person to meet her, but every single time someone got voted out, the last bite of the episode was Reem being like, what the hell? Or like, it's like immediately talking to Reem. So the fact that Reem hasn't come back, and that's me also probably the format is on trial because I should pick Victoria. But if Reem had ever come back, I think I would have been full blast. Like, this is amazing. Like, Reem should have been a Francesca by now.
I am going to agree with the people saying Victoria. I love Victoria. I think she's an amazing game player. It would be interesting to watch Victoria and Genevieve play, because I think they play a pretty similar game. But like we were saying in our text chat, Ron Clark would have also been a great addition to 50. And I think it would be really great to see Devens and Ron over like an Angelina, Christian, and Mike. I think Ron replaces Mike And that would have been, in my opinion, a better dynamic because you don't have a locked duo between Devens and Ron Clark.
How have they not done Survivor Rivals as a blood versus water of like
heroes villains, man? That's what it was supposed to be.
No, but like you hate somebody in your Survivor career where you're like, I'll play as long as I'm not playing with them, and they're like, got it, boss. Actually, you're not playing with them. You're playing against them, and it's Russell versus Rob, blank versus blank, Phil versus Will.
Yeah, I'd go Lauren, obviously.
McKenna versus Parvati.
I won't. I think Lauren gets so screwed on this season because everybody tells Chris about her idol, and then she just has to she is forced to do stupid stuff with it. Lauren was playing a really good game, and with that hidden idol, I think she had a chance at Final 3 against anybody but Devens, and she gets totally screwed. So yeah, I'd see Lauren play again. Yeah, Blake playing against himself. Cliff always coming through. All right, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow night, we're gonna be live late because we got top 50 moves draft at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's gonna be going on.
Right? The menu advantage given to Ron, which immediately gets him voted out.
So funny.
Top
biggest move.
That's biggest move. So we're gonna be doing best moves, and then after that, McKenna and I will be talking about season 45, whatever episode it is. What's the name of the episode? Do you have it off the top of your head?
Great question. No.
Okay, so we'll be talking about that one after. So
tomorrow for that draft, are we allowed to pick more than one Mitch, or is it just one per contestant?
No, you can actually take Mitch once per round. That's fine. That is fine. Yeah, but you have to put the GIF up.
Whatever episode 12 is, it's the one with the helicopter date.
Okay, so we're gonna be watching D and
ex-girlfriend at the wedding.
What's it called?
The ex-girlfriend at the wedding.
Okay, so the ex-girlfriend at the wedding tomorrow night, probably around 11:15. We'll be doing the biggest moves draft.
It'll be 11:30 or 11:45.
And Thursday and Friday are.
You need that.
Thursday is hide and seek, and Friday is what?
Friday is Icarus time.
Icarus time, yeah.
So D is tomorrow,
and Emily.
D and Emily, yeah.
So
and then,
3 out of 10 is New Era. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's highlighting most of the New Era players there. You're not doing Genevieve with Operation Italy because then you'd have to explain yourself why you're not doing everything else. Yeah, there you go. Polary has Blake.
That's a really good idea.
Wow. He's going with Blake's move. Play that funky music. Oh, wait. Biggest moves, not biggest grooves. Okay. I like that. I like that. Somebody's been listening to Blake. Okay. I'm done. That's how we're ending it. We will see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. with the biggest moves. Otherwise, patreon.com/thespecialist. We'll see you later.
What else rhymes with moves?